So when I was 17, I joined the military because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I deployed when I was 18, a little over 18, to Afghanistan as a Cav Scout for the U.S. Army. I was there for 19 months. I came back, didn't realize that that was a little more aggressive than I wanted to do, climbing mountains in Afghanistan, doing surveillance and stuff like that, being in hostile environments. So I went into aerospace. I went as a Black Hawk crew chief. Deployed shortly after that for my second deployment, 16 months. Did that as a medevac crew chief. So another series of experiences that I wish I hadn't, but fast forward just a little bit, I come back home. I joined like an SF unit, which is up in New York, technically attached out of New York. They do micro deployments, so I did 5 or 6, technically 6, 3 to 4 week micro deployments. And that was manageable, but then the unit at that time was wanting to go to full-time deployments. I was at 9 years at that point, and I didn't want to commit to something like that again. I just had my son. I was 1 at that point. All these experiences that happened, watching people die, resuscitating people in helicopters, watching people's last breaths, 19-year-old kids like crying for their mothers, and looking at, like, seeing that disparity in their eyes, like that all shook me and led me to drinking excessively, and it was hard for me to readjust back into normal life. The drinking spread for about 6 years. Never admitted I had a problem, obviously. And then I found myself on Tybee, stuck on a beach in my truck with my son, and that was a contribution to DUI. So I got arrested in that moment. But as I was saying goodbye to my son, his little hand touched my face, and that's the first time I heard this voice, right? So it was, "Remember this moment, son." That kind of shook me. I was crying, obviously, because I was saying goodbye to my son, who I care for dearly. Even in my hard, sinful nature, like, I still had so much love for him. So I get arrested on Tybee, and then I post bail, and I walk the 7 miles. So I came home, like, walked into my house. My wife was on a trip, so that brought all sorts of stresses, and she was super angry. And that's the first time I've ever been arrested in America, for sure. And but that had all come to a head there, and I put all that. I came into the house, and I, like, naturally poured me a drink. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, what am I doing? So I poured it out, poured everything out, didn't even have a sip, just poured it all out. I'm like, this isn't gonna help. The very next day, that next Saturday, because this was a Friday night, that next Saturday, I just looked up AA and said, this is where this is gonna lead me. I had no, like, real frame of reference for who God was or his nature. I was raised in the middle of Indiana, so it was simple. So I did the 12 steps, like, quickly, and was wholeheartedly. Now 6 months into being sober, and I started church shopping, if you would. I met with a guy there, the pastor at the time, who's still a pastor there now. He met with me over lunch. So he already had a Bible for me, naturally, and he handed it to me. So I started John, and I couldn't put it down. Like, I just couldn't put it down. But I got through John, and I just kept going. And probably a month of the New Testament, I'm like, let me figure out what led up to this. So I went to the Old Testament. Another 6 months later, I got baptized at that church. I felt that pressure to, at least it wasn't, I don't think it was conviction at the time, but it was like, I'm ready to, like I want to be a part of what God made here. I want to be a part of this tribe of people, or this, like, I want to be a part of his people. But this fire to, like, really learn what's in this book, and really learn who the nature of God is, and who Christ is, like, that was, like, I couldn't, like, smother it. I couldn't find a way to, like, calm that down. And I read the Bible like I read the AA. I accepted the pages, and I accepted that I couldn't manage my life well. That fire is still there. I'm just trying to find a way to, like, guide that. Like, if I didn't have salvation in Christ, or I didn't receive salvation from Christ, like, I'd still be doing what I was doing. And I still have that void that I just couldn't fill. I would definitely still be in sin. I know for sure I would. Like, that transformation happened, so that comes with a sense of responsibility.